Last down, or last up rather, Aaron leaving Karen alone. Yo, Karen was so much happier this episode. Why was she happy? It wasn't just because her mother was at her house. It wasn't just because her mother dropped some good advice. It wasn't just because her mom made her breakfast. It's because she had no interactions with Aaron. Yes, sir, it is your boy KEB, the boss from ShifterMagazine.com. Here with another episode of Shifter TV Talk. We break down some of our favorite TV shows. And today we're talking about Season 5, Episode 3 of BET's Sistas. Very excited about yesterday's episode. Now, if you watched Shifter TV Talk earlier this week, where we talked about All American, you knew I had a big time cold. I was sick out of my mind. I still showed up. I still dropped the video, but I was sick out of my mind. My eyes were like this. You know, I was all congested and stuff, but I still jumped on. But today I'm feeling better, so my energy's back up. Energy's back up today. So quick announcement, very soon we're going to be running a contest where the winner's going to get a chance to come on to Shifter TV Talk, whether it's Shifter TV Talk, All American, or Sistas. You're going to get a chance to come on with me and do a whole episode with me, sharing your ups and downs from an episode of your choice. So the winner will get a chance to either come and talk about All American or talk about Sistas. And once again, joining me for a whole entire episode, co-hosting with me on an episode of Shifter TV Talk. All right, so let's jump right in. So the first up, Andi and Gary again. I'm liking Andi and Gary, man. Not Andi and Gary who are like, I don't like them in a relationship. I don't like them when they're just beefing and trying to do their whole legal battles. But them, sexual tension, Andi and Gary, boom. I love that. I actually like Andi when she's with Gary. I do. Like it is in these kind of in between stages where they're like you don't know what their relationship is. I think they're good for each other in that sweet spot. So definitely this kind of sexual tension in between. Are we together? Are we not together? I like that Andi and I like that Gary. So boom, let's give them an up. Next up, Preston trying to come back for Danny. Now, if Aaron had done this, I'd be like, it's a down. But I like Preston, and a lot of people like Preston. Preston wanting to come back for Danny. For me, I'm like, I liked this. He keeps showing that he really is a solid guy. He really is a solid guy, and I think deep down inside, Preston knows that Danny's lying to herself. That's why he's pursuing like that, because he knows, she's lying to herself. That's the difference between like Aaron and Aaron and Karen and the situation with Preston and Danny. Because deep down inside, Preston knows Danny still loves me and she's lying to herself. Aaron, on the other hand, can't take a hint that Karen does not like him. Not even that she doesn't love him, she doesn't like him. That's the difference. Aaron can't take a hint. Preston is reading the situation correctly. He's pursuing when he should be pursuing, whereas Aaron pursues when he should not be pursuing. That's the difference. I just dropped that. That was a freestyle, people. That just came off the top. Jeez. So that's the second up. Preston pursuing Danny, not letting his woman go. Boom. I like it. So our third up this week, Fatima introduces her cousin. Finally, we get introduced to the character, her cousin. She didn't actually appear, Eva Marcel, All the Queen's Men crossover. It didn't happen, but it's been introduced finally. It's been introduced. And I like it. I like the fact that we're finally now alluding to that. And we got a lot of good background story on Fatima. We're getting a lot of story of like why she is the way that she is, like why she moves the way she moves. We learned that, when originally when Haiti got beat up in the parking lot at the law office, that it was her cousin that she called who had kind of handled it for her. So we're getting some of the holes filled in. I like it. It's not a full crossover, All the Queen's Men, but we're getting there and the character has been introduced. Boom, up. We're no longer being led astray in the blind, people. Next up, Calvin, man. I'm liking Calvin this season. People like to other characters like to take jabs at his blouses, like to allude to him being gay, and if he was, then there'd be no issue with that. But finally, like this season, he's been manning up a little bit. He's been manning up until this episode. He learns that Q Q had a part to play in Maurice getting into jail. She goes to the house to step to him, to check him, and I actually liked it. He held his own against Q. He held his own. He got some good shots in. And so for me, I liked it. I feel like he's like a Will Smith, man. That people have been taking jabs. People have been taking jabs for a long time. So finally, Calvin had enough and just got in there. Got some good shots in there. So people stop picking on Calvin, man. Stop picking on his blouses. Okay. Last up rather. Aaron leaving Karen alone. Yo, Karen was so much happier this episode. Why was she happy? It wasn't just because her mother was at her house. It wasn't just because her mother dropped some good advice. It wasn't just because her mom made her breakfast. It's because she had no interactions with Aaron this episode. That's why she was happy. That's why she was happy. She's happier when she doesn't have to interact with Aaron. That's her up. Aaron finally left her alone. Clingy Aaron finally left her alone. So that is an up. Because Karen without Aaron is a happy Karen. Absolutely. So Aaron leaving Karen alone. Boom. That's an up. Now my down, I'm divided on this. I'm gonna call this a half up and a half down. So at the end of the episode, Aaron ends up bumping into Fatima and Zac at the gym. And at first I thought it was an up. I partially think it was a down. So he kind of stepped up and he was just like, you know what? He told Zac, you know what? Karen just got back from the hospital. Let's agree to not stress her out. Let's kind of come together and agree to not stress her out. Zac didn't take it too well. I understand why, because who wants to be told by that dude? Like, who wants to be preached to by that dude? So I understand Zac being like, yo, like, what are you talking to me for? But at the same time, part of me is also annoyed. Like, part of me is just like, yo, like, probably wants to commend Aaron because you're being such a grown man. You're being so mature. Like, in real life, that's how you would want men to act. Like, in real life, you'd want men to act like Aaron. But in this particular example, you're like, yo, I've had enough of this guy. I've had enough of him being the nice guy all the time. In real life, we would want men to act like Aaron in that situation. In real life, we would want men to be that grown and that responsible and be like, yo, let's da-da-da-da. Like, in real life, if a man was in that situation where there was another guy that could be the baby daddy of your woman or the woman that you love, a lot of us would want that men to be able to behave like that. A lot of us wouldn't want men to act like how Zac reacted. But for some reason, in this example, I don't like it. I like it. Like, part of me's like, up. I commend Aaron for being grown, for being mature in this situation, and in a situation that most people would not be mature in. But part of me was like, down. Be quiet, Aaron. Part of me wanted to be like, yo, be quiet. I don't want to hear any more from you. Because he's always the nice guy. Like, at some point, you're like, listen, this guy can't be that nice. He can't be that nice. Like we need to see something else from his character, man. We need to see another side. And he has done it before. Like, he stood up for himself once when Gary took a jab about his wife or something like that, his ex-wife, and he stood up for himself. But we need to see more of that. Give Aaron a freaking backbone, man. Give him a backbone. Shoot. Always letting people walk all over him, always being the super nice guy. Like, for that reason, that's a half up and a half down. I commend him for being mature and responsible and a good guy, but probably he's like, yo, this man is too perfect. Like, you need to do something with this character, man. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking. There has to be a down, the fact that Maurice hasn't appeared yet this season. But I'm starting to think, like, I feel like it's actually a good thing. Like, it's building the anticipation to when Maurice finally arrives. Now, who knows what's happening? It could be that this did that on purpose. It could be that, again, the actor, maybe he had other projects that he was working on, and they're kind of working into the script or the story. We don't know. But last few weeks I was saying that it was a down that Maurice wasn't there yet. But now I'm like, you know what? The anticipation could actually be good if they deliver. if Maurice's debut is like, oh my gosh, like it was amazing, then it's gonna be worth the wait. If it's not, then it's gonna be like, yo, like what was that for? But I'm actually thinking that, you know what? Let me not say this week that Maurice not being there yet is a down, because I think the anticipation is actually good. So we should wait and see like what actually happens with Maurice before I kind of jump in and say, yo, I think if we get another like 2-3 episodes in, if it's like, you know, another 2-3 episodes and we still don't see him, I might say it's a down. Or if he pulls a Santa Claus and doesn't appear till Christmas, then I'm gonna be like, yo, that's a down. But for now, like, yo, the anticipation can be a good thing. So let's wait and see what happens. Anyway, that's that. Those are my ups and downs for this week on Shifter TV Talk. I'd love to hear from you guys. What were your ups and your downs from this episode? You can let me know in the comments. And that's it. I'm out. It's Where KB Boss for ShifterMagazine.com.